Now, page 4, the post-shooting attack on the Bill of Rights. It happens every time. Every time some maniac kills indiscriminately using some kind of firearm occurs. Every time some crazy person decides to use a so-called weapon of war to murder innocent Americans. Every time some deranged, anti-God, pro-violent, antisocial, reclusive mental case abuses his Second Amendment rights by choosing murder, it happens. The fascist left rears its ugly anti-constitutional collective head and calls for the elimination of the birthrights of innocent law-abiding Americans. For example, the so-called assault weapons ban. At one point in this republic, there was one. And so what did it do? What was the net result? Fewer murders? No. All the assault weapons ban did was strip away the constitutional rights of law-abiding Americans. And so if we go down that path again, what will happen? Well, first, there will be no appreciable changes to the rate of murder and or mass killings. Second, when this ban on so-called assault weapons does not work, then the same crowd of the fascist left, anti-constitutionalists, will call for more. They will attempt to impose on all Americans what the radicals in California have done, making it more and more difficult to purchase materials that make guns function, ammunition. Their radical thinking is that if they can't ban guns outright, then they can ban the ammo. It's happening in the Golden State, and it could be imposed on the 49 others if these radicals get their way as they chip away at the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and of course, Amendment number 2. And leading the radical effort to fundamentally transform our constitutional rights into those of Venezuelans, the old Marxist socialist himself, Bernie Sanders.
And today I make an appeal to Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader, and that is we cannot continue to allow the NRA to determine gun policy in the United States.
The NRA is not determining gun policy in the United States. The NRA exists for one reason, and that is to make sure that Marxist socialists like Bernie Sanders does not take away the God-given, fundamental, constitutional rights at birth given to us and protected in the United States Constitution. This notion of being able to protect ourselves with firearms and the right to bear arms goes well beyond the framers of the Constitution. But the framers wanted to make sure that we had this fundamental right. But does Bernie Sanders even know the reason, the main reason why the framers gave us the Second Amendment? I think the answer is yes. In fact, I believe everything that he talks about and all of his policies emanate from the fact that he does know the fundamental reason the framers of the Constitution gave us the Second Amendment. And that reason is to protect against him, to protect against a Senator Sanders, or, God forbid, a President Sanders, who wants to take away the rights, not just Second Amendment rights, but other constitutional rights, wants to impose massive government on the American people through, for example, his Medicare for All. That's a massive chunk of government that costs trillions and trillions of dollars, by the way, imposed on the American people. It's government dictating what the American people do with their health care. And so the framers of the Constitution gave us the Second Amendment to protect us against what we are enduring right now. And that is a government out of control, a rogue government. And the framers wanted us to always be able to hold the government and its individuals running it at bay. And one of the ways that we can do this is by having the power to possess firearms. It is the fundamental difference between the United States and Venezuela. The Venezuelans have no way to fight back against tyranny, but the framers of the Constitution gave us this right to fight back against tyrannical leaders like Bernie Sanders. And this is why he hates the NRA so much. This is why he would love to see the NRA disintegrate.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.